Alright, hey everybody, I hope you're all having a great day. I'm having a pretty good one, but feeling a bit sick, so we'll see how long I can stream tonight before my voice gives out, but for now I think it's okay. So let's just jump right into it. Alright, so yesterday we finished most of this anti-cheat. We actually got pretty much all the way done with movement code except for two parts, which you can see here. We need to write a converter from the network messages to the game logic actions, and then we need to actually execute the action, and then we'll finish our goal that we've been working towards for a couple weeks to actually move the monster, so pretty sure we'll get there tonight. Yeah, here's where we actually ask for the conversion, and then here is a not implemented exception. So when we play the game, we should get all the way to that exception, which we do, and it keeps throwing that every frame just because it keeps on asking. Because we don't handle not implemented exceptions, that shouldn't happen. So I guess let's go ahead and write it. It'll be pretty easy. So network action list, or I'll just say network list, and then we'll want to I can almost copy this and just kind of reverse everything. So I'm going to create a new list, and this will be game list. You don't even need to initialize the list size for this. This will just be game list actions add. And we'll want to change this to action network to game, and then we'll need to create that function. Okay, so let's go ahead and generate this method. Net action, and again it's just going to basically be the opposite of here. So return new game action, and the type. I think yeah, we can pretty much just pull everything over. Source monster and a target index. Alright, so yep, very easy. Alright, okay, and I already created the query. Okay, so now let's see what happens when we play the game. I'm pretty sure we'll get another not implemented exception, but I'm not sure what or where that will be. Okay, so it actually just goes to the executes, execute phase, but then nothing happens after that. Alright, so let's go take a look at that. First, let's see, do we need to add anything here? So the subphase, well, no, pretty much it just executes, and then here we wait to see if there's been any errors, and then once everyone gives a ready check, then we can move on. So yeah, I don't think I need to add anything. Okay, so oh, hi Iceboy, I'm doing pretty good. Just got a bit of a cold, but not too bad. How about you tonight? Alright, so here's action executor. I think this basically just actually executes the actions, but doesn't control the flow. So we want to find out whatever sends this. Okay, it's right here. Okay, yeah, and so nothing happens, and that's why the game just kind of froze. Thanks, Iceboy. It's not that bad, but I might have to, well, we'll see how long my voice will keep up tonight. Okay, so yeah, this is wrong. Need to change this to game action list. Oh wait, yeah, just an action list. And what did I call this? I think final ordered actions, yeah. And then we handled any errors. Oh yeah, I wasn't sure why I sent that there, but that must have been for testing. Okay, so let's uncomment this. Yeah, it should work just right out of the box. Oh, you got the software Game Maker? Is that what you're talking about? Okay, yeah, I don't know if we need to have the error here because the action executor actually throws errors itself, so... Okay, have you got a chance to try it out yet? Oh, we got, let's see what this fix. Oh, that's true, it should be I-type. So this might already be set up. Game action is save action. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we need to add the game action to the log right here. I guess we can have... Well, we already have this class, but it's only for network action converters. Maybe I should just change it to any action converter. I don't know if I... That's a little too messy. I'm trying to do schoolwork first. Okay, well that's understandable. Let me know what you think of it. Okay, yeah, let's make, might need this some more later, so I'll make just a class that's like, I don't know, save converters. Alright, Ice Boy. Oh. Let's accidentally copy that whole line. Okay, so all I really need to do here is just make... There's a couple other places that I convert to and from the save file types. I don't know if I do any with actions yet. So I do, I could just copy that. Oh, I already have this class 2 action. So let's move this out. So this would be action, save to game. Okay, yeah, that's correct. And then we of course need to have the save action here. And okay, this looks fine. So now we need the opposite way. Which do I'm pretty sure I wrote that somewhere. Oh, right here. It was just commented out. So this would be action, game to save. Move these file or this information over. Oh right, it's active. I like the active naming scheme better than source, so I think I'll change it here as well. And you might be wondering, why don't I just use game action everywhere? Well, at some point, for instance, the save action or the network action might need to have slightly different data, so just for future bug safeguarding, I think it's good to try and keep these data types separate. At least that's my philosophy about it. So now all I have to do is get that query to return or to convert. Right, so this actually happens, it can happen during the loading phase too. So I think, yeah, this should actually be just like game wide instead of just on the map controller. That means I can't use my fancy helper functions. I think I can just do this. Alright, and so this would be a return a game action. And then we want to claim it right away. Oh, do I have to? Yeah, this won't return it, will it? Can't really do that either because I'm gonna have to do a bunch of type arguments. That's okay, I guess. So query, I guess this should be R to return and the argument. Claim it right away with this function. So query claim handler and then pass true to have it start active, and then oh, do I need to pass the game as well, don't I? Game register or components register query, and I think that's fine. Oh, how's the game coming? Pretty good. Yeah, I guess I think it'll let me play it right now. Oh no, there's an error. Oh yeah, because I took this out. Let's just comment this stuff out for now. And that way I can show you what the game is looking like right now. So we actually got all the scripts to run, and the game has finally given me a list of actions that it wants this monster to move here. And okay, well, it's still a little buggy, but that's okay. Oh, it actually did move the monster, you can see. Now it's having a problem because it's trying to save that action occurred, but I haven't set everything up yet. But still, we actually saved the monster, so that's a big step. I'm working towards that for about 2 weeks or so. I'll come back to the simulator. Okay, so I want to register and claim save action, or the other way around. And we pass the game and action. game to, oh no, the other way. Save to game. Okay, that's all matches up, and then I want to provide the converter for the other way around. Okay, and then I just need to create this, but we should move it out of the map namespace. Where is it? Save, file, converters. We just want to put it in the base namespace. And then the actual game object, we'll just create it right here, so that the entire game can use those converter functions. And then this. Okay, was this there already? We'll have a query handle to change save action is return type, so we want to convert from game action. Okay, that's just short for save converter. So I don't have to type out the types again. I'll just copy and paste. Okay, and now I can throw that away. And we'll just call this converter. Okay. And then, wait, no, that's, where does it get that? Oh, right here. So this is what actually does the movement. So yeah, it just sets the monster's position, doesn't really care about anything else. And then this code is basically logic that only runs during the play phase. And that's basically any graphical code, such as this on move, triggers the monster graphic to move positions, and then obviously building the save file. So I think that's all set up. Let's see what Unity has to say now. Okay, so yeah, it's back here, and that's just because I need to get the converter the other way around though. So query handle, and we want to change a save action into a game action. Oh, I did it backwards though. So return type goes first. Okay. Equals controller. And again, I'll just copy and paste this. Don't know why it added that space there, it's kind of weird. And now I can just call the converter. Okay, that's good. You can. There we go. Okay, we got an error somewhere. Requested feature is not implemented. Oh, but it did move the monsters at least. So something on the server, play except. Okay, so it actually moved all the way to the end of turn actions, which I guess is correct, but yeah, we're not dealing with that yet. So I should put not implemented a little different, in a different place. because this is the class that's supposed to gather all the end of turn effects. So I'll just throw new not implemented exception. And I'll comment this out so I won't have extra warnings that we don't need. I'll try to move them slightly differently this time. It still works, yeah, and then we get features not implemented, okay. So of course it's very jumpy right now, it doesn't look nice. But, well, the whole game still looks pretty bare bones, so I'll worry about the animations when we actually have something nice to animate. Alright. Okay, so let's see what's done here. So I guess now I want to clean up most of this stuff before we actually do end of turn effects. So yeah, let's just do a little I don't know, late summer cleaning, I guess it would be. First of all, let's add some of the other objects to this save object converter, because I think there's a couple other places that convert between the save objects and their other types. This might be, I don't know, maybe that's not really needed because these are only converted one way, or in one place. But I guess if we see we're having to convert between them multiple places, then I should add it here. But for example, it's not quite as easy to transform from the save player to the actual player, because you can see here we gotta transform the type, and then we have to know the client to get the username, so yeah, a little more complicated. So we wanted to go through and add Lua exceptions. I think I might have already done this for a lot of places. But basically, any place I can, I want to add it, excuse me, an exception right when the function is called, instead of having to wait until the Lua is, okay, no, this is right, is inspected at the end of the script call. So like right here, we probably don't want this target indicator to be at a position outside the board. So if value is in board is false, then we throw new script runtime exception. Indicator position must be in valid, or must be in the board, I guess is fine. And then here we might want to only accept certain types. So let's see. Switch type, or switch value to upper invariant. I think for now I only accept move, so here we want to throw another exception, say bad indicator type. I guess this would be a string format one, isn't it? Okay, and as I said before, what's the word? The advantage to throwing errors like this is that Lua will catch this right away. So say for example, let me pull up a script. Yeah, if I did a typo like that or something, then Lua would tell me there's an error right here instead of, otherwise it would execute the whole thing and then the game would just say, oh, invalid indicator type. But you'd have to like go back through the code to find exactly where it was. So I'm just gonna kind of go through all these Lua objects and set errors where it's needed. Nothing really can happen there. Nothing there. Nothing there. I think action logger already takes care of it. Nothing here because Lua can't actually set anything. Yeah, see, a lot of these objects Lua doesn't really interact with, they just read from. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Looks like I already did a lot of this work. Okay, yeah, this is hidden completely. Okay, yeah, this is actually done during the terrain generation, so I should probably make sure that each of these is larger than 1. Columns is less than 1. Then we'll want to throw new not or script runtime exception. Let's say num columns must be greater than 0. And then we do the same for each of those other values. So rows and layers. Okay, and then here we get the block. So I guess we'd want to make sure that the block is in bounds, would we? I actually think that the way I did this is that it lets you set things out of bounds in case you resize the map. But is that what I want to have happen? I'm not sure. Because I can't actually use the board position is in board function because the board hasn't been finalized yet. So I guess I could just look and use these num columns and things, but I guess that would be in the board generation block. And maybe this, the way I've done this is, I think all logic should be in this class. Oh, except this, no, this doesn't have any, what's the word? Knowledge of Lua. I think I will make sure that it's in bounds. So if position dot column is less than, okay, this is all in Lua coordinates. So again, 1 is the beginning, so it's less than or equal to 0 for position column is greater than num columns. I got to do the same for each of these. Rows for position dot so in any of those cases we'll just say block is out of bounds. I guess another thing I could do is just like manually extend the dimensions. That could be a better way to do it. But no, because if this is negative, that doesn't work. I guess we could just say the block can't be less than or equal to 0. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking about it too hard. Yeah, I think... Yeah, we won't automatically extend the dimensions. I don't think that's a good idea. Let's say, block out of bounds. That's good enough for now. I don't know if I can spell out correctly. So that's really the only thing that can go wrong here. Okay, and the block. So we just set the prototype. I guess the prototype could be bad. Yeah, we haven't implemented that yet. But I actually don't think that we would know if the prototype is bad at this point. Yeah, so I don't think we can fix that or catch that right away. Okay, here I don't think you can actually set anything. And action, can't set anything. Okay, Lua doesn't have access to that. Monster, you don't set anything. I see most of these classes are just, like I said, just for Lua to get data from. Okay, so yeah, that was pretty easy. Alright. Okay, so one more thing off the list. So now I want to add asynchronous support to the ability usable. I already did ability target. So that shouldn't be that difficult. The only thing that, only slight gotcha is the class that uses this uses it in such a way that it kind of needs this information in one frame, but I can envision like a certain ability might not be able to be used if it has no targets in range, and then in order to find if a target's in range you might have to do like a path search, which can take more than one frame. So I think we do need to make this asynchronous. It's not that difficult. Where is the script that uses it? I guess I can see what calls or what uses the parameters. Alright, Ice Boy, see you in a second. Or whenever you get back. Okay, yeah, the ability select window is the only place that calls this. So, yeah, unfortunately we can't set the button usable right away. So what would be the best way to do this? I guess actually the best way would be to call ability usable like for every ability right at the beginning of your turn, so that way this will be available whenever this window is selected. Alright, so yeah, let's go ahead and do that. It's probably better that a GUI window doesn't like call this Lua function itself anyway. Okay, just checking to make sure no errors so far. Okay, so what I need to do is change this from a query to like 2 messages like I did the other Lua calls. We'll need some other things, such as the start asynchronous script. So if I just pull this code, that'll save me some typing. Okay, and yeah, this will be moved to a different function. So private bool or void on, gosh, I can't spell void, on complete, and it will be passed the dynamic value of the return value. And we'll also have it pass these parameters. Yeah, so we don't really need to, we don't need that. So let's copy this over. So pre-resume and post-resume we don't need right now because we don't have any special functions, so we can just set those to null. Yeah, this is what we want to do. And this is usable. Yeah, we do want to forbid stat requests because you shouldn't ask for stats right now. Void. Okay, so this will actually be sub to message, and there we go. Okay, and this one return the result. It'll actually call that this other message, send results. And this is all good. But I guess the result needs to have a little bit more information. Basically, this, which we can provide easily. So monster ID is parameter monster ID and then ability ID. And this is just so that whenever, since we're going to call multiple scripts at once, we'd want whoever class gets this message back will be able to figure out what the result is referring to. Okay, so that's basically all I have to do here. Okay, so the ability select window. Okay, how do I want to do this? I guess we need somewhere to store like data about every usable script or every usable ability for each monster. I'm trying to think what the best way to do that would be. Okay, so I can take that away because this class won't be calling any Lua. So I guess if I had a variable that had a dictionary, should I make another class or just reuse? So basically, the key to the dictionary should be the an object that has 2 values, one for the monster and one for the ability, and then the value should be if it's ready or not. So I could just use an int vector 2, which just has 2 integers, but the variable names don't really make sense. So I don't think I want to do that because I'm going to try and have very good programming practices for now. So this will be ability, usable, I guess it shouldn't be cache, it should be like cache item. It doesn't need to be public. Be a structure, and it will have public, or I guess no, private, int monster index and ability index. And then we'll need to create a constructor for this so that you can set both those. And I'll copy the hash function from int vector 2. Alright, and so if you ever use anything in a dictionary, you need to really think about, oh, I actually didn't set it all up, but there's something called a hash function for every object that C# uses, and it basically turns an object into some integer key, and that's how the dictionary stores every value inside of it. And it can, one important property is that if two objects are equal, they need to have the same hash value. So that's one thing to think about. For most objects, you don't really have to create your own unless you change the equality function, because it will just use some unique value for that object that's determined by the compiler. But for structures, you almost always want to write your own hash value or hash function, which is what I'm going to do. Actually, yeah, we can rename this to a key, I think. Oh, I need to rename the file now. So the dictionary will be the usable cache key. Do I want to use a dictionary, or do you want to just create, while I'm at it, I might as well just create ability usable cache object. So that way, whatever calls it doesn't have to care about the underlying data structure. Ability usable cache. Oh, I forgot to put class at the beginning. And why don't I just make this an internal structure? So I can just rename this to key now. Okay, so this will have a function, for example, what's it called? Ability usable, what's the enumeration? Usable state. And this will be basically get state for monster and ability. And then it would look up in the dictionary to return whatever it is. And then of course we'll have somewhere to actually set the state, because I don't think this class will actually do the logic to call the Lua functions. That should be somewhere else. But anyway, all we have to do here now is have the ability usable cache. I guess this will be get variable. What's it not like about that? Unpostally convert variable subscription. Oh right, this is just a plain variable, so there we go. So now button would basically be. We will need to change this because, for instance, the cache might not know the value for the specific monster yet. For now, I think this will be okay. So where's the monster index? Okay, so it says scope monster, and then we have the ability ID. Okay, so this will work, but obviously after this class has been shown, the state might change, so we need to have some way to update it. But we can get to that later. Oh right, I need to create the hash function. I got sidetracked there. So I have this n-vector2, which is basically just an object with two integers. And I already made this hash function for it, so I'll excuse me, just go ahead and copy it. And it's always a good practice. I think it might even be mandatory if you're going to use it in a dictionary, that if you ever change the hash code, you also need to write your own equals, and vice versa. Oops, I want to change that. Okay, now instead of x, let's make this shorter. Let's change it to monster. I just need to change all x to monster and all y's to ability. And you might be wondering what's with this complicated math. And I mean, I know what it does, but I don't really know the reasoning behind it. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. I just copied this off of the internet, and that's really what you should do for most hash functions. People have probably figured out better ones than you could think of. Okay, and the only other thing you want to do is also, especially for structures, if you implement a custom equals function, you can say it implements this I-equatable interface, and that lets the compiler optimize some things for you. So it's always a good idea. Let me get a drink of water real quick. So far my voice is holding up pretty well, so I think we might make it towards the end. Okay, so now we have the hash function, so we're ready to put these objects into an actual dictionary. And if you're wondering, if you didn't create your own hash function, things would probably be kind of strange in that two key objects that you'd think were equal probably would not show up equal in the dictionary, and so you'd get results you don't expect. Okay, so what other classes do I need, or functions do I need here? set state. Oh, I forgot to put the type there. Alright, so here it's pretty easy. We want, I guess, yeah, we'll just return the default value if the function doesn't have, or if the cache doesn't have a value. I guess maybe we should throw an error. Not sure. So we have new key, monster ability. So again, if dictionary has a value for this key, then it inserts it into the state variable, and so we can return it. Otherwise, we could either return 0 or throw an exception. I guess this would be an argument exception. So if this ever happened, that'd be my problem, so I do want it to crash the game. So I guess I'll just say ability usable state not known for monster slash ability. And then I need to do a string format, of course, to actually insert the values in there. Alright. And set state is pretty easy because there can't be really any errors here. So new key. And the last function we want here is a clear. We'll just clear this cache. Okay, so now what is the object that actually calls all this? I guess it would be same thing that triggers this window to display. So select phase, let's see. Okay, so the way I have it now is that right when the choosability phase starts, that can't be right. Oh no, it is right, because because when the choosability starts, we have the monster already, so we can go ahead and just show everything. So I guess it would actually be, maybe I'd want to separate this into another class, but is it the selection flow manager? Right, because this trying to figure out, I always forget exactly how I program the flow for this phase of the game. Selection phase. Okay, yeah, here's what I was looking for, our choice phase. Okay, but it doesn't actually start it, so when does this start command, which is start choice selection. Okay, which is the action collector. So I guess oh, I see. So it says start selecting for the specific player. And then here Yeah, it sees it. If it should control this player, then it does start selecting. So I guess it's at this point that it should start generating all of the usable functions, or the usable cache. So should I just have another... I think the best way to do it and not try to get fancy is just have another message that I can say figure all usable for this player. Yeah, because there's no reason to call Lewis scripts for any other player besides the one that's active, because they won't have this window being displayed. And the AI probably would want to have direct control over that anyway. Okay, so... we'd have one message. That would be, I don't know, what do we want to call it? Compute usable abilities. Doesn't need a type. Or should we... I guess we should just send the player index. And I'll just call it compute usable abilities. So I guess we call it right here. And I guess if this is sent and we're still in the middle of working, then we'd cancel the previous calls. Although, yeah, I'm not sure that would really happen. Probably a better way to do it would be, yeah, once we're out of the selection phase, that it would just go ahead and clear the cache. Alright, so this is the ability. Let's put usable ability. I don't really want to call it computer. I guess that makes most sense. Okay, so I need to delete the constructor there, but and this will have a claim on the ability usable cache variable. Okay, so start computing for the player. And then we want to also have on choice phase change, because once we move out of the selecting phase, then we'd clear the cache. guess I should also have the message claim to cancel Lua. Which I think should be okay, we shouldn't mess anything up. Yeah, because usually Lua never runs like in between phases, so that's fine. Yeah, I'm being a little dangerous by having one function to cancel all Lua scripts, but I think it actually works okay. If I ever create a script that runs like in between phases, though, I need to be a little more careful. Oh, back with some ice cream, that sounds great. I could really go with some, well, one of my favorites is mint, that sounds good to me right now. Alright, so I guess I need to get choice, or wait, variable subscription, int, choice phase, and then I should also have a private boolean here if we're actually running something. So if choice phase value does not equal int, is it option? I think that's correct. And computing, then we would set computing to false and call the cancel Lua, because we would just want to end any Lua scripts that are running right now. Okay, and some weird things could happen, like if this is called twice for the same player, but I don't think that would ever happen. Now, do I need to wait one frame to start calling Lua? I think that's probably safe. So in that case, I need to have another state, actually. So idle, initialize, and computing. Okay, so I can change this to state equals computing. Let me just set it to idle. Okay, so now I guess I do need to store the player that we want to figure out. I guess that's okay. So yeah, I'm basically gonna, if we've already started computing for one player and then this is called again, we won't cancel the other Luas, they can go ahead and finish. Doesn't really make much difference. I need to put this at the beginning. And that's it, I think. So now I need the ticking function. And basically if state is initialize, then I need to call all the Lua scripts. So need another message here for ability usable parameters. Yeah, call Lua, that's fine. Let's make another function, private void, call Lua for all abilities. Yeah, that's correct. Spelling don't look right. So now we also need the the battle because we need to see what information or what monsters a player has. So for each monster ID and battle players, player index, team, and then for each ability ID and battle monsters, monster ID, abilities. So I think we're just going to assume that a monster won't have duplicate abilities in its list. That doesn't really make much sense. So I'm not going to have to check for that. Okay, so now we'll call this Lua script for every monster that a player owns and for each of their abilities. And once we do that, actually I need to set the state before. Receive Lua return, and then, or I guess result sounds better. So basically here, again, we don't really care what state we're in, I guess, except we don't want it to be idle, so if state equal or does not equal idle, then we'll take any result. But I guess how would we change to be idle again? We could either, I guess we could have a count for each Lua that we call. I think that's probably the best way to do it. To go before the call. So here we would do a call count, and then we have the cache value set. So it's result, monster, ability, and state. So that's pretty easy. And then if the call count equals, I guess we should, to be safe, we should say less than or equals 0. Then we'd set the state to idle because it's done. And then we probably want to call some function to say ability usable cache updated. Do I want to call that? No, I shouldn't call it every time we get this result, but we should probably call it every frame we get this result. Private rule, call, update, message. We need one more claim here. Type, and this is a usable update. And we want to set this to false so it won't happen again next frame. Alright, so now basically every frame that we have an updated result, we'll call this message. So now we just need to set up all these values. So we also need combo activatable, controller, toggleable. And this helps us, of course, control when this tick function is called. Which, when this is called, we want it to start. So here we'd set that to true, and then we'd set it to false here, and also here. Oh, except alright, and then I need to get all these values. So cache equals controller claim variable. Cancel Lua. No types, but it does have a tag, I'm pretty sure. And the choice phase. It's an integer, and it's, I think I just call it the choice subphase. Value is here, so no argument listener. And call Lua is easy. This claim message of this type doesn't even have a tag. Okay, and this usable update, we need to create a new message. So I'll do that. So what do I call this? I guess, I don't know, ability usable update. Sounds fine. And then last but not least, I need to get the battle object. Oops, didn't mean to put a comma there. Okay, and then also here I should set the Lua call count to 0 and turn off this. Wrong variable. Okay, so I need to create this class in the play controller. I don't think I actually subscribed to the start computing message, so okay, and then just need to give it the function. Oh yeah, and this actually has a integer as the argument type. So is everything hooked up? I think so. Okay, so let's see what happens. Of course, the ability window doesn't listen to that update message yet. Yeah, so it doesn't actually do anything. Oh, actually, there is an error. Oh, it's because this value hasn't been set yet, I think. I can't do it there. I think it should be safe right here. So if cache value is null, then we want to set it. And also I need to clear this cache. And we just wait till the end of the phase. Abilities will state not known. Okay, so I guess it is not known yet. Yeah, we call a bunch of... Or we just call one script actually. Oh, two. And the script was complete, but it's still not known yet. So let's do a little debugging here. Pass this so that we can know what values or when we're getting them. Okay, so actually we can see here that that log was never called. So either state is idle. Oh. Yeah, I never set it to computing right here. I don't. Oh well, no, because I think I set it right here. Regardless, this is never reached. Did I not? Oh, I didn't subscribe to it yet, did I? Yeah, I just claimed it. Okay, that's the problem. Okay, so ability, usable, result. Just pass this. So that should fix that issue. Okay, and then yeah, it says creating script. It says receive 00 usable. Okay, but it didn't receive anything else. Why is that? Let's see what happens. Yeah, it says monster 0 ability 1 is not there. That's because for some reason it didn't accept the next monster. I wonder, is this call count not correct? Let's do another log here. Okay, we also can't set that combo active false right there. Because then it wouldn't have done this call update message, so. Let's see what happens now. I'm interested to see when that log is triggered. Okay, so yeah, it calls it after one call. Why is that? Oh. Yeah, it's because the call count is 0. because it finishes immediately in one frame. Okay, well, I guess we can just loop through everything twice. I think that's how we'll have to do it. Seems a little redundant, but... So we loop through first. Oh, I guess we don't have to be quite so strange here. Say do a call count plus equals. So it'll be one call per ability. Okay, now it worked fine. Okay, cool. And I just want to make sure I'm going to go ahead and remove those debugs because I really need to go through and clean up the debug log, I think. So just to be clear, that's only decremented there, and then it's set to 0 here, but that's the only places. So it should stay in sync with the actual number of calls that are out. Okay, so the last thing we need to do... where's the window? Right here. So if we really wanted to be efficient, we could just only call this refresh list. Or we could have a separate function to just refresh the buttons. But I think what I'll actually do is just call refresh list again when the update function is called. That way I don't have to, because this is a temporary window anyway, I don't really need to try and make it, what's the word I'm thinking of? The most efficient. So I want to subscribe to a message actually. And what should this be? Oh, I already did it. Update. Okay, right there. I think it was right under my mouse the whole time. And I'll just check if we're in the choosability phase, then we'll call a refresh list. So again, it's a bit overkill, but it doesn't really matter. So let's just make sure it works okay. I think right now refresh list is called before it's visible because all the scripts happen in one frame, but we can see nothing weird happen. So one thing we should try now is what would happen if some of the functions took more than one frame. I think the easiest way to do that would actually be to do something like have a yield comment in here, like for I equals 1 to 60, let's do a bit longer, 100 frames. What is it? Oh, it's over here. So we'll have a new type here. This will actually be good because at some point we'll need this anyway. Alright, so let's just, I don't know, I guess wait 1 frame. So this will basically be a asynchronous call just to wait 1 frame. And we'll need to, obviously we'll have to do a little work to support that, but it will be useful. So where is, let's start here. So we just add another type here. Again, I need to clean up this class too, but I think I'll wait and do that when we actually do the path finding. Okay, so here we'd have private Lua interface async request Lua handle frame wait. Yeah, it doesn't need any arguments. So basically we would just return a new Lua response. Okay, but I do need to create this new request object, don't I? Where was I? Right down here. Okay, so it just has that stat index, but we don't really have to deal with that now. So the main thing is that we have the Lua request object and the response, which would be frame. I guess maybe wait would be better. Okay, and here is also wait. Stat index. So both of these don't matter. I do need to set the type though. And I think this is it. We just return the Lua request now. I don't know if we really need to even have a response. We could just return null, but so now is request filled? If it's wait frame, then yes, it's filled. Oops, I don't know why I was gonna type return twice. Or do I need to do something a little bit more? So let's see, it gets return value. Then it checks if a request is ready. Okay, yeah, so it actually does do this now, so I need to, I guess I do need to have an index in here, which is like the start frame. Okay, so G request. So I'll just use the Unity Engine's frame count. And then all I have to do is up here, it's if the request index is less than Unity Engine time frame count, then we know we're on a different frame, so we're ready now. think that's really all I have to do here. Oh, I need to add this to the global, yeah, the Lua globals. Okay, so it moves it there. Okay. Set global wait 1 frame. Right, you have to cast it because then otherwise C# gets a little confused. But yeah, we don't need any arguments to this one. Oh, I did it backwards. I always forget the return value goes at the end. So I think that's it. Okay, so let's see if it works. Let's have a little debug log here. I guess I could have kept this. Script 1 requested to wait 1 frame. Got an error, actually. No native async requests. Oh no, active. Did I forget to add it to the list? Probably. Okay, yeah, for some reason I put that at the end. Okay, valid out of sync. Huh, what does that mean? So script 1 requested to wait 1 frame, then script 1 complete. Message claim. Something in the dictionary. Lua async request handler verify state. Huh. So where does this happen? Lua request handler tick at 2:37. Okay, active tracks. Why would that happen? Oh, of course. This was kind of silly for me. I'm surprised we didn't get this error before. We can't do this for each. Because the call script might actually want to delete or remove something from the dictionary, which would cause an error. And also, while we're calling the script, it could insert stuff into the dictionary, which could also mess it up. So, alright, well it's 9, so yeah, I'll need to think about how I want to do this. We need to basically get a list of any scripts that are active at the beginning of that frame. And I guess we could just use, like, we could just insert all the values into a list at the beginning. That seems a little slow, but it might be the safest way. And it'd probably be okay because we're only going to have a few active scripts at a time usually. But anyway, yeah, we'll come back and fix this. So let's... yeah, that's basically done. So fix, or let's see, convert for each to use a list and Lua async handler. What's the line, just so I remember? 237. Alright, so we'll do that tomorrow, and then we'll continue on with some of this stuff. Probably pathfinding will go at the end, because it's kind of big. Oh, maybe before we do the server stuff, I don't know. Alright, but anyway. It's nice to knock out some of these smaller goals. Well, plus we finished our big ones, so that's always nice. But yeah, this is going to be it for me tonight. Thanks everybody for coming by and watching. I will hopefully feel better tomorrow. Well, I'm not feeling horrible today, but I'm sure that my nose is a little annoying to the viewers, so sorry about that. But I'll be back tomorrow around 8:30 Eastern, and we'll continue from where I left off. Thanks everybody again for watching, and have a good night. Bye bye.